Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I am back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder. As always, if you enjoyed the series and want to see another episode tomorrow, please show your support for the series by leaving a like on this video, and let's aim for 500 likes on today's video. Today I'm using the exact same team as the previous episode, featuring Mega Metagross, Thundurus, Bisharp, Sylveon, Hydreigon, and Landorus. Mega Metagross is a really interesting Mega, of course new in Auras, that I think has potential to be really strong. I am running a Jolly variant, that way I can outspeed a lot of the more common Pokemon. First opponent of the day is going to be a 1687 rated player from Japan, and my rating currently is 1778, so if I can win the two battles today, I'll be able to finally break the 1800 mark, which would be really nice. So my opponent here has got a team of Charizard, Slowbro, Salamence, Sylveon, Aurorus, and Blaziken. That's definitely a really interesting team. Two potential Megas, or three I guess, or four, with the everything but Sylveon and Aurorus. Blaziken's definitely an interesting sight. Charizard is really rare to see it as a non-Mega, so I'm assuming that's the Mega, but I haven't really seen any normal Blazikens either. But for leads, Metagross is very solid in this game. The one thing that really gives it trouble is the Blaziken, I'd say, if it gets that speed boost up or whatnot, but I like it in this matchup for sure. I think I'm going to lead with Thundurus and Sylveon. Yeah, that's a pretty solid lead. And in the back, I definitely want Metagross, and for the last one, I'm thinking Bisharp. Just because it can beat the Slowbro, the Sylveon, Salamence can potentially give it a Defiant boost. And Sucker Punch is really strong. Yeah, I'm going to go with Bisharp. Landorus here would be nice actually too, but I'm going to keep it out. Hydreigon is also decent, but the Sylveon is what's really scaring me. So I'm going to go Thundurus, Sylveon, Mega Metagross. It's always a tongue twister, and Bisharp. So hopefully we can win this one and the next one and climb up to 1800 plus, but I guess we'll see. So I'm going to lead with Thundurus and Scarf Sylveon, which is always a pretty solid lead, as he goes with Slowbro and Blaziken. Okay, that's an interesting lead there. Not one I'm too concerned to face up against, though. I can just go for the Thunderbolt and Hyper Voice, honestly, this first turn. Presumably the Blaziken here is going to protect, but if it doesn't... Oh, which it doesn't, okay. So I'm just going to be able to get a lot of free damage here. He goes for the Flare Blitz onto Sylveon. Will that be able to KO though? Let's see. Yes, Sylveon hangs on with 24 HP. Perfect. As that is Life Orbed actually, as Sylveon is able to get the Hyper Voice off. That should knock out both of my opponent's Pokemon. Yep, it does. So excellent first turn. Obviously, that couldn't have played out any more perfectly. As I take a 4-2 lead, and now Thundurus is free to paralyze at least one of my opponent's Pokemon, so really couldn't have played out much better, to be quite honest. He's going to bring in Charizard and his own Sylveon, and that is obviously a very good sight for me. I can just freely Thunder Wave the Charizard here to make both my Bisharp and my Metagross faster, and then Metagross and Bisharp can clean this up. That is the Mega Charizard Y though, so no surprise to see that being the Mega Evolution on my opponent's team. That is going to set up the drought, boosting all fire type attacks coming out of that Charizard, as he actually goes for a Protect there with Charizard. A smart play, as Thunder Wave's going to go into that Protect, but Sylveon here is at least going to be able to get a Hyper Voice off against his Sylveon, which is always good, and that does a pretty solid amount. He goes for his own Hyper Voice this time around. Basing off the damage, probably not choice specs, because Thundurus would have taken more damage there. But now I can just bring in my own Metagross. I can Thunder Wave the Charizard, and then Metagross and Bisharp, like I said, should be able to just seal this up. So I'm just going to go for the T-Wave onto Charizard, Mega Evolve, and Protect, so I get the speed boost. And that's one of the nice things about Mega Metagross. You actually outspeed Charizard Ys, Kangaskhan's, everything around that range. So that's one of the reasons why I'm running Jolly. I might try out a bulkier variant in the future, but for now I really want to get the plus on speed on all the other opposing Megas. He's not going to protect Charizard this time around, so he's basically guaranteeing me the free Thunder Wave. I didn't go for a Thunderbolt there because I don't want him to potentially KO me here. He is going to go for the Heat Wave. This is bulky Thundurus, so I should be able to take it. Yeah, it hangs on with 18 HP. It's going to eat that Citrus Berry, but Sylveon here probably going to knock it out. We'll see, though. Metagross protects itself. Thundurus is going to faint. Oh, due to a critical hit, actually. So that's obviously frustrating, but now I can just bring in my Bisharp. Though, obviously, I haven't done much damage to my opponent while he's gotten a lot off. I probably could have just went for a Thunderbolt onto the Charizard, actually. Here I'm actually in a pretty rough position. Not rough, but presumably he's going to protect Charizard and Hyper Voice with the Sylveon. But the thing is, I can't one-hit KO the Charizard, which is like the main concern right now. So I can just Iron Head with Bisharp and Zen Headbutt, but I don't think Zen Headbutt's actually a KO onto the Charizard, and if he hits a Heat Wave, then I'm basically done for. So if I were him, I would protect with Charizard, but I think I should play it safer, because otherwise, if he gets a Heat Wave off, I'm basically done for. And based off how little damage the Sylveon was doing earlier on, I don't think he can KO Bisharp with the Hyper Voice. So, you know what? I'm just gonna double up into Charizard with a knockoff and a Zen Headbutt. And he doesn't protect. Okay, that's what I was expecting, so that's good. And I should be able to pick up a KO here, as I do. So scary position there for me, but I figured my opponent knew that if I targeted either of my attacks onto Sylveon, I would have just lost if he got the Heat Wave off. So I was going to play it safe. As Sylveon actually goes for a Yawn. That is not a move I've ever seen used on Sylveon, but I guess good to know that it actually gets that. And now I can just Iron Head and Meteor Mash for the win. And there's not much my opponent can do, and he's just going to forfeit there. So very quick first game win in today's episode, but you know, I'll take it. A bunch of unique, eccentric Pokemon choices on my opponent's end, but surprised to see his rating was that high, given on the first turn, you know, there was like no protect on anything but Charizard, but you know what, I'll take it. So definitely a nice way to start off today's episode, and all I need to do is win the second match and I'll be over 1800. Of course, the goal for the series is to hit over 1900, but it's definitely a good start, and my rating currently now is 1790, so that's pretty sweet. So as long as I don't get matched with the opponent too low and manage to win, I should be fine, but we'll see. That first game was pretty quick, though. Probably one of the quickest games I've had on the series yet. But that's what happens when you don't really run Protect in VGC. And obviously, I had an amazing start right away after just picking up knockouts left and right. I'm going to find Albert, 1747 from South Korea. So if there's a game to get me over to 1800, it's definitely one against a good player. He's got a team of Landorus, Aegislash, Gengar, Terrakion, Amoonguss, and Rotom Heat. So that's a very threatening team. Gengar often carries Icy Wind now that it gets access to it, so that's definitely something I'm really scared of going up against. Terrakion is an interesting sight as well, just a bunch of really threatening Pokemon. Landorus, of course, access to Intimidate, two Pokemon like in Will-O-Wisp with Rotom Heat and Gengar, Terrakion, which is just a really fast speed type, Amoonguss. Mega Metagross actually here is really, really solid, but I need to make sure the Gengar is basically the biggest threat on my opponent's team as of right now. So Amoonguss is also a very big threat, though I'd say Amoonguss and Gengar are the two Pokemon I'm really scared of facing. I don't think I'm going to bring Thundurus this game, though it is very tempting to bring it just to get Thunder Waves off. And taunt the Gengar possibly too. I think I'm going to lead with Hydreigon and Landorus. Yeah, that's actually a really solid lead in my opinion. Metagross in the back for sure. And the reason why I think Hydreigon Landorus is good is because the one thing that really threatens Hydreigon is his Terrakion, and Landorus beats Terrakion pretty hard. So I'm going to go with Hydreigon Landorus, Metagross in the back, and probably Bisharp as my last one. Although Sylveon is tempting as well, I think I'm going to go with Bisharp. Yeah, definitely a really threatening team on my opponent's end though, so I'm very, very scared to face against this, but should be exciting. He's definitely got a lot of standard Pokemon, but at the same time, I haven't seen too many Gengars. Normal. Well, actually, there's a very good chance, now that I think about it, that the Gengar is actually Mega. Did not acknowledge that at first, so that should be interesting. He is going to go with the Gengar Amoonguss lead as I thought he might have, so that's good. As I'm going to be able to get my Landorus and Hydreigon in for free. Obviously, Intimidate here is not going to do anything to the two physical type attackers, or the two special type attackers he's got. Unfortunately, I actually don't have many good switches with this Landorus. So I'm thinking I might want to just Dark Pulse the Amoonguss and Earthquake to try to pick up the KO there. Let's see. I've got Metagross in the back, which can take care of Terrakion. Alternatively, I could Rock Slide to break a potential Focus Sash and Draco Meteor the Amoonguss. I don't want him getting any Spores off, that's for sure. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to go Draco and Rock Slide. I want to break this Focus Sash from the Gengar. And since I'm Specs Hydreigon, I should be able to KO the Gengar the following turn. He is going to go for the Rage Powder, though. I'm guessing we're going to see a Will-O-Wisp, maybe an Icy Wind as well. Oh, he does go for the Icy Wind. Hydreigon actually avoids it, which is pretty fortunate there. But that's going to hit Landorus and decrease my speed. However, I do have Bisharp in the back, so if he decides to Icy Wind again next turn, that would be costly for him because he's going to give me a free boost. But Hydreigon here is going to get the Draco Meteor off, which of course is good news for me. And wow, it actually just knocks out his Amoonguss, so his Amoonguss not very specially defensive. That's good because this Rock Slide is actually going to get full powered off here, and it does connect with the Gengar, so that's really, really good for me. As almost KOs it actually, but I'm not running that much attack investment. I'm guessing we're going to see Terrakion come out here. But it's actually his own Landorus, which is even better. So definitely a very good turn 1 for me there. I picked out a knockout on Amoonguss, which means redirection is basically stopped. Now I'm thinking I want to switch into Bisharp and Draco the Gengar spot. I want to switch out Landorus, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm going to try to get rid of Gengar because I've got Metagross in the back, which deals with his Landorus perfectly fine. And if he does carelessly go for another Icy Wind, he's going to give me the free Defiant boost. So that's kind of what I'm fishing for right now. And it's pretty unlikely he'd Earthquake there. That is Gengar's, Mega Gengar, so smart of him not to Mega Evolve the last turn. I was pretty close to Earthquaking, but he smartly enough does not go for that. But let's see what Mega Gengar goes for. We're going to see U-Turn come right out from the Landorus there, so that's Scarf Landorus given how it outsped the Gengar. And this is actually a really good position for me because he's basically going to be forced to bring it back in eventually. Maybe even the next turn if I can pick up the knockout on Gengar here. And looks like my opponent's last one is Rotom. He does go for the Icy Wind, so that's really good. I get the free boost from Defiant. Oh, and it KOs Hydreigon, unfortunately. So Mega Gengar doing work there. But like I said, he is going to give me the Defiant boost, which of course is pretty sweet. However, had I knocked out the Gengar there, that would have been huge. But, you know, he did miss Icy Wind the first time around, so I can't really complain. But now I can bring in Metagross, which is pretty sweet. However, him getting in Rotom Heat was a very smart kind of play. And unfortunately, I'm not carrying Bullet Punch on this Metagross. Had I had it, I'd feel a lot better about my position. But I think I'm just going to... Yeah, I'm actually in quite a rough position right now, actually. If I were him, I'd like Shadow Ball the... No, I want to Sucker Punch Gengar and just attack Rotom, but... the question is who I can Sucker Punch right now. Ooh, this is tricky. I think he's going to protect Gengar here. And attack Bisharp. I think he's going to Will-O-Wisp. If I were him, you know, I'm going to Zen Headbutt the Rotom and also Sucker Punch it. If he does just go for attack, that Rotom is gone for. In retrospect, I don't think that was the best play I could have made, actually. I think I should have switched. Actually, I can't even switch out, so... Sucker Punch. Oh, he does attack with the Rotom, though. Will Sucker Punch KO? Oh, it does! Sweet. So he didn't go for the Will-O-Wisp there. That's really good news for me, as Gengar here is going to go for the Shadow Ball. Who does it target, though? Probably the Metagross, yep. Oh, and that Metagross is just going to go down, so that's unfortunate. However, now I get to bring in my own Landorus. He's going to be forced to bring in his own Landorus, so my Bisharp's going to be at +3 now. It's basically guaranteed a KO onto that Gengar. And this is tight finish to the battle, but I'm definitely Sucker Punching the Landorus here because I know it's Choice Scarf, so I'm going to pick up the knockout there. I guess we're going to see an Icy Wind come out from that Gengar, which can knock out my Landorus, of course. I'm thinking, I don't want to... In retrospect, maybe I should just Sucker Punch Gengar. But he might just be willing to Earth... Well, if he Earthquakes, he loses, basically. You know what? I'm just going to Sucker Punch the Landorus and go for the... Oop, not the knockoff. Yeah, KO the Landorus and try to, if he doesn't Icy Wind, then I just KO the Gengar as well. But Sucker Punch here is going to go off. Yep, picks up the KO. Of course, at +3, you'd imagine it would KO. So now it's all dependent on what Gengar goes for. He does go for the Icy Wind. It is going to connect. And it is going to knock out Landorus. So, +5 Bisharp against Mega Gengar. But this Gengar has shown Icy Wind, Shadow Ball, Protect. I'm not even sure if a Shadow Ball can knock me out. But, you know, I'm going to Protect here to scout out whether he's got Will-O-Wisp or any moves. Oh, he goes for his own Protect, actually. So my Protect here is actually going to fail. Now the question is whether he goes for the double Protect or not. You know what? I'm just going to Sucker Punch. I have 6 PP, so I can afford to lose a bit. Obviously, I'm in a better position right now, but the mind games here are real. Oh, he just goes for the attack, so I'm going to knock out Gengar and take home the 1-0 win. So that's going to bring my 80 over 1800, and that's awesome. So, really intense game there. Pretty quick one as well, but definitely a hard-fought one for sure. I was really able to take advantage of the Icy Winds, though. Getting the KO on Amoonguss on the first turn was huge, obviously, as well. So, definitely an exciting battle, and also exciting because now, obviously, my rating is going to be over 1800, so final 100-point push to 1900, which should be cool. I know the first place in America spot is also not much farther than lower 1800, so hopefully in the next couple of episodes, I can just hit the first place spot in America, which would be cool. But of course the goal is to try to reach 1900, maybe even reach #1 in the world. But 2 pretty quick battles for you today. Exciting though. The second one was definitely really intense, especially facing Mega Gengar. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. As always, leave a like if you did, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, peace.